Hola, it's me, T, aka Teopatra, and you're watching TTV. And on today's video, the topic is going to be what do you need to work on? So there will be three piles, and the first pile is going to be Mercury retrograde, and the second pile is going to be You Are Magic, and is pile number three is going to be chemistry. Chemistry as well as alchemy and what does that say? Transmutation. So if you're having a hard time thinking about which pile you want to pick, I'm going to give you a second. Oh my God, I'm parched. So pile number three is going to be Mercury retrograde. And if you have a hard time choosing, this is going to be pile one. I said pile number three. Pile one is going to be Mercury retrograde. And this is also going to be with pile one, Ra. Number, can you see that? Let's see. Pile number, okay, you can't see it, but focus on me. There we go. Yeah, I have the same headband on as the last video. If you saw it, it said what the person on your mind because I had a green shirt on and I got food on it. So I had to change my shirt. And now I have this on. Cute, right? Yeah, so pile number one is going to be Mercury retrograde and Ra. Ra is number 30. It says creative power. So Mercury retrograde and Ra. Pile number two, like I said, is your magic. But if you're having a hard time choosing, this is also pile number two. Imagine my shirt. Pile number two is Sobek. Look at him. Sobek is half crocodile and half man. And this is number 40, rest and endings. Interesting. And pile number three is chemistry. Pile number three is going to be chemistry, alchemy, and transmutation, as well as Jeb or Geb. Geb, he's number 10. Okay, so let me put them side by side. Pile number one, Ra. Pile number two, Sobek. And pile number three, Geb or Jeb. So I am actually going to start with pile number three first, since it's number 10. This is going to be out of order, but I'll have the timestamps below. So if you pick pile number three, you're going to be first. And pile number three is, that's not right. Pile number three is alchemy. Okay. So you could have been seeing 111 lately or 1010. And the card says earthly focus. So I feel like pile number three, what you need to work on is how to manifest. I think you're already a good manifester, but what I'm thinking that your issue is now is you're focusing too much on the things that you don't have or you do have in the physical. Since we do live in a three-dimensional plane, it's easy to get caught up in feeling like we want to have stability, which we all strive to have, but when you are a spiritual person or a highly attuned person, you know what it means to be spiritually wealthy. So when you're spiritually wealthy, sometimes you can feel abundant, but you may not have the abundant things in the physical that you might necessarily need to survive. And so now what you need to work on is how to balance um, what you are abundant in spiritually and bring it down into the physical. So you could be good at, like I said, I feel like your manifestation skills are very strong, but you can be overstimulated by your environment or people around you. And you need to learn how to you need to learn how to make your thoughts into reality. Like the things that you know you're good at and you believe them, but I feel like you doubt yourself a lot. And sometimes you also could doubt your intuition. And maybe you spend a lot of time procrastinating. So, or you could spend too much time trying to make things perfect instead of just um, releasing your expectation of what it should look like, because most often than not it's already perfect and it's already ready for you to present it. But I feel like you overthink things because you want them to be perfect. I think you spend a lot of time on the small details, but you can get caught up in the small details as well. I think you're someone who is like, you can be a very empathetic person. You could consider yourself to be an empath, but what you need to work on is learning how to transmute the energy of the people around you. Because if you're going to absorb a lot of energy, oh, I didn't even put down the time that this video started. I'm gonna have to go back and look, but um, you also could, like, okay, so when it comes to the energy that you absorb around you, you have to learn how to transmute it and not to absorb so much, so that way you don't get distracted and you can stay focused on what it is that you're trying to make manifest and to the 3D. um you whatever you work on, you could literally be work on science, or you could be interested in nature, chemistry, biology, occult practices. And maybe you're trying to learn how to, like, maybe you've been working on grounding, sun gazing, moon gazing, or how maybe you've been doing the like Japanese water technique where they froze the snowflakes and the crystals and said different words and played different music around them, like rock, metal, and like, lullaby music, and saw the different crystal formations that formed. um so I think it's good for it. What you need to work on is how to transmute your energy. And I think that your power lies in the fact that you know how to connect with people. Like, you could shock people a lot, like when you touch them, or you can like, or when people touch you, they shock you, and so you create a lot of kinetic energy in the physical. Like, I feel like um your spiritual power or your spiritual gift is the fact that you can feel the energies of other people. But sometimes I think you get lost in those energies and it's hard for you to delineate the difference between your energy and theirs. Gonna pull some tarot. Clarify pile number one. What do they need to work on? Yeah, so pile number one, you need to learn how to let things flow. I feel like you try to control the outcomes too much. And sometimes you might find yourself wondering why, since you planned out things perfectly and you saw the outcome working so perfectly, why it didn't come out the way you thought. And that's because you put too much control over the outcome and you don't allow God and the universe to also work its forces. And that's where the balance is missing, because you don't it's like you almost don't trust other forces to help you. Like you're very headstrong, and sometimes you can be very stubborn, and it's like you block your own blessings and you inadvertently stop your own manifestations. And that's how sometimes you even learn your lessons, because you're like, man, I knew this was going to happen, or man, I did this. But then at the same time, you have to learn how to not do that and how to let, like, allow things to flow. But I feel like overall you're very balanced. Like all your elements are very balanced. Like you understand the elements. And I see you working with an altar, and the way you work is very efficient. But sometimes I think that maybe you don't trust your own abilities, and you have to work on strengthening your self-worth as well, because that's why, like, the outcome of your abundance and your manifestations are solely off of how you believe that they're going to make manifest. Okay. All right, give me a second. Finish shuffling. Okay. So this is what you need to work on, Paula. Number one, I see that you went back to the drawing board about an idea that you had before. There was something that you saw, some type of synchronicity, or something, maybe some type of message that you listened to that reminded you of something that you were working on before. You could have, I feel like you're someone who really does understand spirituality, like metaphysics, the esoteric realm, and occult practices, and you're really, really good at them. But at the same time, you allow the lesson in the challenge is the fact that right whenever you're about to be on the break of something, it's kind of like Einstein energy, like it's giving me eureka, I found it. But like right whenever you're at the point, whenever you have found the answer, someone or something comes along to distract you. And it happens so much so to where you notice and you're like, this is it. Almost came to the point where it became a synchronicity for you when you're like, I know that that I'm on the right path, or I got the answer, because every time here comes somebody distracting me. And I feel like you were in the middle of like finishing up something, and then you thought about that, and then here came someone and it distracted you. And the next thing you know, a week has passed and you haven't worked on this project. And then also, like, as time passes and the more time that passes when you don't work on this project, your feelings can begin to change on it. And then next thing you know, you're trying to tweak it to make it look like something else. And your, by the time you're finished making your adjustments or your edits, it looks completely different than how it did the original project did, which means that you have then diluted the energy and taken away from its unique craft and its originality. Um, and because of that, it kind of diminishes the power of it, and the potency is not as there. And you kind of felt this already, but I feel like you needed confirmation. This video is going to be confirmation to you, to tell you that you need to stop changing things so much to try to make them, like, especially if someone comes and tells you, well, I think maybe you should do it like this, right? And it doesn't even have to be like magic necessarily. Maybe you make clothes or you make music. I think that there's something earthly focused, or you could be a writer. There's something that has to do with creativity. You could be maybe you're even a YouTuber and you put out certain type of videos, and then every time you try to put something out, someone's always telling you how it should look differently. And that's going to be the challenge. Excuse me. It can also cause you to have like a mental battle with yourself where you're going back and you're thinking like, okay, maybe they were right. And like you're always going back and forth thinking um that whoever, the person that came to you and told you that it should look differently, you always think maybe that they're right. But the thing is, your mind works on a whole different plane than most other people. A lot of times people can't even understand the level of thinking that you're at, because your mind is so like far advanced, and um you understand like 3D things on a very esoteric and metaphysical um level that most people don't even get. Like if you're trying to explain people like the spiritual meaning behind depression or COVID or politics or whatever, and they're like, no, it's not even that deep, like you're thinking way too deep in it, you kind of start to second guess yourself, and then you kind of don't feel the support, and it makes you less motivated to want to put out this information because you feel like every time you try to explain it to someone, either they don't get it or they shoot you down, or they try to explain to you the reality of it. Well, actually, it's not even that deep. It's just politics because people need to know how to vote. When it's like, no, like you're probably into conspiracy theories, and you probably try to explain to people the reason why like a lot of the things happen in our reality, and people try to just be like, nah, man, like you're tripping, like you're tweaking. Um, but you have to work on your confidence, and the challenge is has been you being able to stand firm on what it is that you believe and what you want to do, because there are like-minded individuals that think like you, but until you're able to fully stand on it and express it and put it out, then you will not be able to connect with those people. And you have to get out of your mind and stop thinking so much about the outcome and just feel comfortable with um letting things flow. Like you could be like, I think my video should look like this, and it should have an intro, and it should be edited this, and it should, all the thumbnails need to look like this and this. But instead it's like what you need to work on is just that project, and then you need to just put it out there and let it go and release it and let it be into the universe, and whoever's supposed to grasp onto it will. um what you need to work on is how to get in control of your mind, because you could probably have ADHD, or you could probably have like some type of mental, like you could have something that deals with your thought process or how you think. um your mind is your mind. I feel like your lesson here on earth was to learn how to be an independent thinker and how to come up with innovative ideas. Like I said, it's giving me Einstein energy, almost like Ptolemy energy and Pythagoras. All the people like aristocrats and philosophers and mathematicians, like Socrates. I don't know if Socrates was a, I don't even know. I think he was a philosopher. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I said don't get me wrong. That's not even the saying. I'm gonna say don't get me to line. But yeah, you like, and believe me when I say that people do be understanding what you be talking about, even if they try to downplay it or act like they don't know. And you probably kind of have this inkling, like, man, I kind of figured that. But like people low key be trying to play you because you just think on a different playing field with them. But people really like the people that you explain. You'd be surprised about the people, you'd be surprised at the people who are actually really interested in the way that you think. And like you could probably see these people in your dreams, and when you see them in your dreams, they probably like compliment you and stuff, and you don't believe it because in the reality, when you see them, they're like always like probably low key joking about it. But like even though it's fucked up, like that's kind of like their love language. Like that's how they, which I'm not saying is right, but that is their way of like kind of connecting with you on that level, because you're not like the rest of everyone else. Like you don't be thinking about the same stuff that they do. I had to fix that. It was bothering me. And that's like, you're probably like that. Like, you always have to fix something. Like, you're probably like, I need to fix this. I need, and a lot of times, like, instead of working on the things that you feel comfortable speaking on, like these different topics and conspiracy theories, you just feel like, well, maybe I just need to focus on school, or maybe I need to go back to school, or maybe I just need to give it up, or maybe I just need to focus on work. And then, right whenever you're about to decide that you should just give it up, something pops up in your face, and you're like, bro, I was just talking about that. I was just thinking about that. Like it could have been an angel number. Like you could probably be trying to break down the the spiritual meaning of the number three, and how a three looks like the number eight, and how the eight looks like an infinity symbol, and how infinity is a way that the symbol of the universe, and how the higher ups use it to hypnotize people and blah blah blah. And people are just like, bro, you lost me. Like it could be one of those type of things. Let me pull some more cards for this pile. Hmm. My eye. I got mascara in my eye. What's that? I just saw something. Here it is. Excuse me. Stay positive. Don't panic. I think that sometimes you get like, it's like you see things like, okay, say for example, if you're working on a time machine and people are like, bro, you can't work on a time machine. Like, time machines aren't real. You can't time travel. And then, like, you do something, like, you're working on something. And then, next thing you know, like, a lightning bolt hits the house and the power goes out. And then you see this blue orb coming from the thing that you're working on. You're like, what the? Like, you don't know how to explain it because you're like going crazy. And, like, you couldn't even explain it to someone, even if you want to. And most of the time, I feel like you be wanting to explain stuff to people, but it's not for them, it's for you. And what you have to realize sometimes is that you can block your own blessings and your own manifestations by getting too ahead of yourself and getting too excited and sharing them with the wrong people. So what you also have to work on is learning how to keep things to yourself and allow the answers of the universe to come to you instead of always trying to find answers, or instead of always trying to go out and get advice from other people. You need to trust in yourself and know that the answers will come to you, and that sometimes they're not meant for other people. Let me pull some more. Oh, also what you need to work on is, I feel like there is some type of like being, whether it's a spirit guide or an entity, a deity, or some other being or something paranormal that happens. And they're trying to connect with you kind of because you are a medium. Either you're a medium from this, like another timeline, like another dimension to the earthly world, or you're like like a receptor, like you're like a receptor of energy. And you probably felt this, which is like brings me back to that whole empath thing where I'm like, sometimes you might, like, as far as the chemistry, like you might touch certain things and then you might feel like you just like had an out of body experience, or you might touch something and you might feel a surge of energy, and then you might crash. Like you might get surges of energy and then you might crash like a battery almost, and like you have to recharge. Like I feel like you're like a human battery. Like you're like a generator. That's what it is, a generator. You're like a generator. You could be like in human design. You probably have been studying human design lately. And if you haven't, and if you started, this is a time for you to start studying human design. Because for some people, like they're really good at psychology, or they're really good at astrology, or they're really good at whatever. But then for you, I feel like you are really into human design. And human design is one of those practices that's not really as talked about, even though like for someone like me, like I'm into it. So I see people talk about it, but a lot of people are not really into human design. And so I feel like it's up to you to study it, because you're one of the people who could not only understand it better than other people, but you could be able to explain it to other people to where they can understand it. Let's see. Okay. Do some more cards. Mm. 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 5, 6, 7, 8. So, there's a lot of there's two fives here and then there's three spades. So there is an emphasis on you figuring out how to relay your thoughts properly, because I think that sometimes the actions that you make don't align with the way that you think. Like, you could probably act before you think, and the what you could have been trying, like what you could have been trying to relay, the information you could have been trying to relay, probably doesn't get received well because of how you expressed it. Like, a lot of times you could say things that might rub people the wrong way, or that isn't what you necessarily meant. So you're learning, and what you need to work on is how to make sure that your thoughts align with the actions and decisions that you make. So that way, um, it's giving like lost energy, wasted potential. Not wasted potential, but like you missed the mark almost. And so I think you might spend a lot of time ruminating on decisions that you made before and wishing that you could change them. There is like this whole thing about like timelines and time travel. Um, so even if you give very much generator energy, so even if you're not a generator, I feel like you are someone who spends a lot of time wondering about the other dimensions, or like quantum leaping, quantum jumping. Maybe that's what you've been working on. You could have be trying to explain to people about quantum mechanics or quantum jumping, quantum leaping. You One of your ways of manifestation or one of your meditation practices could be quantum leaping, and I think it will benefit you to continue to work on that. But in regards to the main focus here is to there's an emphasis on actions and the mind. So I'm getting that you're learning how to work on how to better act on your thoughts, how to better work on your projects, work on your ideas. Um you could have dealt with a lot of like mental battles from situations that happened to you in the past. Um you could maybe be working on past life regression, or you could be healing past life karma or generational karma. So all of those are the things that you need to work on currently. Pile three. And that's all I have for you today. Thank you for watching. And I asked you, please give me a thumbs up. A thumbs up. Yeah. A thumbs up. Is that going to be the thumbnail? And subscribe to my channel so you can be notified with my new videos, and then let me know what you thought in the comments. Let me know what pile you picked, and then if you feel guided to pick another pile, please do. And if you pick another pile, let me know which one you picked. So until next time, thank you so much for watching. All right, now moving on to the next pile, which probably is going to be pile 1, because pile number 1 was 30. This pile was 10. The next one was 30. And then pile 2 will probably be the last one since it was 40. And then after this, I'm going to go work out. Okay. Alrighty. Oop, my stomach is making noises. So pile number one, well, the first pile that I did was pile number 3. And so now pile number 2, I'm going to do, pile number 2 is going to be 29 minutes and 25 seconds. Hi, pile, what pile are you? Pile 2. No, actually pile 1. So the second pile is going to be pile number 1, which is Mercury retrograde, or rock, creative forces, creative power. Mercury retrograde. So for this pile, what you need to work on, that was the couch, it wasn't me. So Pile number one. There is an emphasis here since the pile was Mercury and then Ra is number 30. Mercury is ruled by the third house, which is Gemini and Virgo. Well, Gemini. So, pile number one, what you need to work on is your ability to effectively communicate your ideas. You probably want to listen to the last pile too. The last pile also, not pile two, because you're pile two, even though you're pile one. See, and you probably like your mind probably is like all over the place. You could like potentially talk in circles, or people could probably have a hard time understanding your points or catching your drift. Um, I think that you have the ability to, you have a very prominent throat chakra. Like you have there are a lot of things that you should talk about and discuss. Like you could want to be a broadcaster or an influencer. You could want to have a podcast or a clubhouse, something where you can just talk and communicate. I think it would benefit you to work on your throat chakra and work on learning how to speak and communicate better. Because I think that you have a lot of great ideas, but you don't talk about them. And the reason why you need to work on those ideas is because in this lifetime, you're supposed to help people understand those certain topics that you have to talk about. They could be about finances, um, about ancient history, like mainly about history, about science. You could be an astrologer, and if you are an astrologer, well, I feel like this is my astrologer pile. Like this is my last pile was like my human design pile, but I feel like this pile is the one who is really good or spends a lot of time studying astrology. And what you need to work on is starting to maybe read your chart more and read people's charts in your families, which you probably already do, but you need to start explaining what the different parts of astrology and natal charts mean. Like, and even if you wanted to start doing natal chart readings for people, like you don't necessarily have to charge people at first, but you could, like, if you don't feel comfortable, and maybe that's the problem, is that you don't feel comfortable because you don't feel like you're advanced enough, which in reality you are. What you need to work on is natal charts and natal readings and astrology, and you need to stop spending so much time trying to study because you've been studying for years, and now it's time for you to actually relay these messages, because there are people who know way less about astrology than you, but because you're so knee deep and far into it, you are looking at the people who you are listening to and getting information from, thinking that they know way more than you, which in a sense some of them might, but at the same time most of them know just as much as you do, because when you are listening to this information and you're absorbing it, you're not learning anything new, you're just already getting confirmation and reiterating what you already know. So what you need to work on is finding a creative way to express what you know about astrology. I feel like the people in your everyday life don't really care too much for astrology, but since you do, that's all that matters, because there's somebody out there who will benefit from the information. And maybe the more that you put yourself out there in your knowledge of knowing astrology, you don't realize how many people will start to benefit more from the information simply because you put so much work and effort into it. So that's what I think you need to start working on now. But now I'm going to pull some tarot. What does pile one need to work on Mercury retrograde? My Mercury retrograde pile. Creative forces and Ra. You need to work on your confidence. Mm. So I think you should also listen to pile one if you were guided to do so. Um, you need to work on stop being so I feel like both of these piles mainly I feel like are masculines, but there could be females as well, but I know there's a lot of masculines here, and because there's not a lot of people, not a lot of men who talk about astrology. If you try to talk about to other men about astrology, they're probably like, "Man, that's for girls," or and you probably hate hearing that because you're like, "Bruh, like you're only saying that because you're a Gemini or a Capricorn." And they wouldn't even understand it. It's like you have your own little jokes that like most people you can't even like benefit from sharing your cool jokes because they don't even get it. But like you could be really smart. Also I feel like you could be really funny. It says creative power. You need to work on the fact that you are very creative. Like you need to continue to work on your craft and and perfecting it because you really do have a gift of being able to explain to people about themselves, but you have to have confidence about it because I feel like you kind of lack in your area of confidence. So you definitely number one is working on your confidence and knowing that the information that you have is very important and that um is not for nothing because somebody will benefit from it. Now let's see here. I feel like you also need to work on not blocking your own blessings by thinking that you don't know enough. So you need to just work on your ability of communicating because you could probably like as a child, you could probably either be the youngest or you could be the one that um you didn't talk a lot maybe because you were afraid about sounding dumb or not as intelligent or you were afraid that maybe because people probably always told you to be quiet and so now you need to work on your throat chakra um like I was saying before. Maybe let's see. You need to work on you also need to work on not turning down opportunities because you don't feel ready. This is giving me like Gemini and Virgo energy. Like a lot of times Virgos can block their own blessings because they feel like they don't know enough about something. But it's like, you do know enough and you will continue to grow by acting on the knowledge that you already have. Let's see. I was almost tempted to bite this. That was random. Let's see. There's three of cups. Oh, you need to work on putting yourself out there in friend groups. I feel like you could have social anxiety and you could be afraid of connecting with other people, but that is kind of blocking your own blessings because I feel like there are a lot of people who like pay attention to you. You could notice like a lot of people paying attention to you. Like I just see somebody sitting in the library and there's like somebody like watching you and you're like creeped out because you're like, why is that person looking at me? But you don't realize that they're like you, even though you're an introvert or you're a shy person, there's other people that are like you that want to connect with you. But I feel like you kind of come off very intimidating. So you need to work on how to be more open, because you give me like not even just about it's not even about being a leader, but it's about creating dynamics of groups of people that probably would always continue to be loners unless that one person steps out and says, hey, I'm ready to um be open to being in a dynamic and collaborating. Let's see. Two of cups, two of pentacles in reverse. Just like the first pile, you could also procrastinate a lot too because you could feel like um you could just feel more comfortable in being in a receiving energy than, well, actually no. Let's see, because these are both masculines. I feel like you're like your own friend. Like you need to get out of the energy of being such a hermit and an introvert and put yourself out there. You need to work on like they talk on TikTok about the rejection therapy, even though I don't really like I wouldn't call it that, but like put yourself out there to be like, okay, I'm gonna talk to new people, and maybe you should start like finding seminars or workshops or like clubs rooms on Clubhouse where people are talking about things that you like, and then every now and then interject and or ask a question. You don't have to worry so much about feeling dumb. This is definitely my Mercury or my Mercurial pile. Or also it could just maybe you're a Libra also. I feel like you have a really good ability of being able to figure out what someone's sign is based on the things that they say. And so it'll help you with your communication skills by making a YouTube channel and or not even, it doesn't even have to be a YouTube channel. It could be a podcast or whatever, something where you are, and you probably already do this. I see you like maybe making a whole bunch of voice notes or like notes, but you never like, they're just sitting there collecting dust. Like you don't do anything with them. And let's see, when did this pile start? This pile started at 29. 30. It's only 20. Dang, I talked for 30 minutes for the first pile. Let me get some more cards. Hold on. Sorry for the talking in the background. Let's see what this says. Have the time of your life. Trust the vibes you get. Oh, look. I've never seen this one. Trust the vibes you get. Energy never lies. Have the time of your life. Let's see. Have the time of your life. It says, I feel like sometimes you can like come off kind of rude. Like the things that you say. You could probably suffer with some type of um like mental disability sometimes. Like you could have like ADHD or anxiety or is it maybe Asperger or something, I don't know. And like you could not mean to say, like you probably need to listen to the last Paw 3 because you probably were also drawn to that. But like you could say things that come off completely wrong and you don't mean to say them like that, especially with Mercury being in retrograde, because Mercury is the planet of communication, and like when Mercury is in retrograde, there happens to be like a lot of miscommunication. So like the reason why you probably don't have a lot of friends is because people could think that you're rude, and don't take that personally. And has I'm not gonna say it has nothing to do with you because it really could. Like what you need to work on probably is how you communicate with people. Like you probably are a great person, a nice person, but it's the way that you say things. Like you need to work on that because although you're very intelligent, you can maybe come off less intelligent by the way that you communicate with other people. And that's something that you've probably had a hard time accepting about yourself, and you've probably been trying to come to terms with that for a long time. But you probably, especially if you're a masculine, you're probably very stubborn, so you probably can't admit the fact. You could also be a Sagittarius. You could probably not want to admit the fact that it really be you that be causing the drama. Show it. Let's see. I'm drawing some more cards. 1 second. I feel so pretty today. Also, like I think you should compliment people more. Um, you need to also work on learning how to make a decision. And learning how to pick. Like I feel like you could maybe okay. So on the other spectrum, if you're not like, I feel like you could be like an introvert, but at the same time, like you could be doing okay, what am I trying to say? Like you could be involved in too many things, but not involved at all. Like maybe you're a part of a whole bunch of different clubs, but when you go to these clubs, you don't talk to people. Like it's like you have your hand in too many pots just for the sake of feeling like you're involved when you're not even really involved. Like you're the person that will go to every single seminar but sit in the back of the classroom and not mingle and just people watch, which is okay. It's okay to people watch if you're trying to learn how to be a better I said better a better like maybe you have like a speech impediment and it makes you shy, but people are not perfect. Like I got a lisp that I be working on sometimes because my tongue is long. So sometimes I can't help but to sound like I have a lisp, but because I have a big tongue. So you'll just never realize sometimes how like the smallest things that people probably nitpick about themselves, when it's just like if you're going to spend all your time nitpicking those small things about yourself, then you're never going to be able to enjoy life because you can't be content with who you are as a person. Like as long as you know that there are people who might look perfect on the outside, but if you realize that everybody's imperfect in their own little ways, even though that other people's imperfections may be more prevalent than other people's, you can't be comparing yourself to other people all the time because then you'll always continue to feel less than. Okay, pile one. Let me pull a few more. Time up. Why Mercury retrograde? With the energy of three, I'm trying to understand. Okay, like what is like always hurts. Yeah. Also, Paul three. Maybe you could be kind of aggressive, and you need to work on not being so aggressive. This is definitely a masculine pile. Alright. Mm. So I'm also getting Capricorn and Leo vibes. So like, especially at work, um don't okay, maybe you're really defensive all the time. People could be like, you are probably feel like people are always laughing at you, when in reality they want you to laugh with them, but like you take things personally all the time, so people can never feel like they can talk to you because you're always in the energy of feeling like picked on or on the defense. And I think you need to work on how to not be so defensive, and how to take not take things so personally all the time, and then you will be happier each day because you don't take things personally. Like if you know how to just not care and be like more carefree, then you'll live a happier life. You know, like things don't have to be so serious all the time. Even though, yeah, things are serious, but life is too short to harp on. Things like, I feel like there are people who are genuinely like attracted to you and want to connect with you, but like you can be almost unapproachable, or like you could be maybe kind of mean, and you probably need to hear this. Um, and there could be people that have said this to you before, and you probably automatically got defensive and took it personally. And this person probably genuinely liked you, and they're just like, this person is so like thick skulled, like hard headed. I can't even get it through to them and like talk to them about it because they're always on the defense. It's okay, Paul One. Love you guys, and please give me a thumbs up and let me know what you thought about the video and which pile you picked. And if you feel drawn to another pile, please feel free to pick one and subscribe to the channel so you get notified whenever I upload other videos. And let me know what you think. Until next time, bye. Okay, my last pile. Pile number 2, which is the last pile. Crazy how I did that out of order, right? That was kind of cool, huh? Yeah. I can't wink for. I said wink. I can't wink for the life of me. Like if my life depended on me winking, I would die. Why would I say that? Why would I say that? What would I do? All right, last pile. So big. So 49. This pile started at 48.14. That first pile was kind of long. So pile 3, you picked or pile 2, which is the last pile. You picked so back. 40 resting endings. Which is also says you are magic. Now, you could have also been drawn to another pile, and if so, feel free to pick that pile. And I do apologize for the noise in the background in advance. We're just gonna ignore that. We've been dealing with all kind of technical difficulties today. Yeah, and I definitely have to change my shirt because I had got makeup on it in this spot, and I got the makeup off, and then I ended up getting food on it in the same spot. So now I have this on, but I'm really loving the green. So also, Sobek matches my shirt. So let's put him right here because he matches my shirt. So Sobek, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna put you right here for now. Hey, can you hear me? Yeah. So you are Sobek. Rest and endings. You are magic. What you need to work on is your feminine. You need to work on your intuition. Being also need to learn how to let things go. Like I get that you could be like really aggressive sometimes. Or you could be very, what's that word? What's that word whenever you like very ooh, what's that word? not discontent, but like whenever you can't see, it's not mundane. What's that word? Very, I don't remember the word, but I feel like sometimes it could be hard. Well, you need to work on your intuition because you be knowing things and you still do the opposite, even though you know that something may not be good for you. So you need to work on learning how to let things go. And you don't have to prove yourself by always having the last word or by just trying to do the most to try to be seen. You need to work on how to be more gentle with yourself and with others and how to not feel like you need to impress other people or yeah. So anyway, let me just cut these cards. Hopefully you can hear the talking in the background. Let's see. Three of Wands. Yeah, you need to learn. You need to work on how to. Oh, okay, that's what it is. Okay, give me a second. Let me just draw the rest of these cards. What does pile two need to work on? I mean, yeah, what does pile two need to work on? Have the time of your life, and I'm laying up for you. Mm. Bring the action. That's not the same song. I just be making shit up. I'm Hindu. And what about it? And what about it? Um, it's all masculines in this file. So this is gonna be a divine masculine reading. It's just going to because these are all masculine energies. Yep. So, ooh, you could be the type of person that only either there's two things. Either you only care about the things that benefit you, or you don't care enough about things in general. So you need to work on how to see things from not only different perspectives, but you need to work on how to see the beauty in the broader scale of things instead of seeing things in such a microcosmic point of view and nitpicking at the small details and feeling like there's like no hope. Um and realizing that you are life that was born out of miraculous conditions. And so whenever you start to like you like I even hear you in this being like, well, X, Y, and Z, like your reality is gonna be solely based off of what energy you choose to accept. If you choose to always be in a complaining energy and a negative energy, you'll always attract things that are like that. But and you probably feel like, well, I had to go through X, Y, and Z, which is true, but it's like you came out on top in the end. And even though you might not feel that way, you have to be able to see things from a broader scale, or else your life will always be mundane or negative. Let's see. And you probably also need to listen to the last pile because I was telling the last pile that they need to work on how to be a little softer. Excuse me. Because what was that? So I think it would benefit you to work like to do some type of meditation or yoga, something that has to deal with mindfulness where you can quiet your mind and not have to feel so like there's just the weight of the world on your shoulders, and like the world and the pressure of the gravity is just weighing down on you all the time. Like I feel like you feel like stressed, like there's a lot of pressure on you. So you need to work on how to be less stressed, and maybe you should talk to a counselor or a therapist or someone, maybe a woman in your family, or if you have wounds with mother issues, or um maybe your mother is not around and you need to learn how to heal from that, because now that you're closest females in your life to you are gone, you could feel like there's no hope or beauty in life anymore. And it's hard for you to connect with other people because you feel like you don't have that one person that you used to talk to about these things. But you have to learn how to strengthen your connection with yourself and with the divine in order to feel new and whole again, because I think that you might have lost some sense of happiness and hope. And so what you need to work on is how to mm, you need to work on your emotions and learning how to let things pass on. So, for example, if you had a loved one or something like a relationship that ended, or if you had a loved one that passed away, as long as you continue to hold on to that energy, they will not be able to move on in peace, because you're harboring the energy that's no longer there, even though their energy technically is not created or destroyed. But at the same time, we still harbor those certain type of energies, and that person can have a hard time passing on to the next phases of life if you're harboring those feelings of attachment towards them, which in sense can be selfish. We may not think of it like that because we miss those people and we think that we are just connecting with them, but in reality they have to be able to pass on and we have to be able to move on and let them go, even if we might not want to. And that's not to say that you have to forget about them, but you have to be able to just like they ended their life, you have to be able to transform into a new version of yourself. So let's see. Um, so it says it's okay to recharge, and then on the bottom it says you do not just wake up and become the butterfly. So I see that you have a hard time. Like you probably feel like your emotions make you weak or soft, but you have to work on opening, like healing your heart chakra, because I feel like there's blockages around your heart chakra. And anytime you try to connect with like someone, or especially if you try to be in a relationship with a woman, I see you like maybe projecting onto them and try to kind of blaming them for why you don't feel happy in a situation, or projecting onto them, things that you feel like they should be doing, when in reality it's how you really feel about yourself, but you just are making that person feel bad. And so you're inadvertently creative negative karma for yourself that's going to pass on to the next lifetime, because you're unable to let go and admit your feelings, and that's okay. Let's see what else. Let's see. Yeah, anxiety, and I do be vibing. Like I feel like what you need to work on is how to maybe it will benefit you to connect with your emotions through music, and to just like you have to find some type of outlet to express yourself, your creativity, because I feel like with the block that you have on your heart chakra, there's also a blockage on your solar plexus, which also kind of makes a blockage on your sacral chakra. So you should learn about what number is this? 40. Yeah. So you should learn more about the chakras and the different points that they are in the body, and you can understand why you might have been having headaches, or why you might have been feeling hella lethargic or tired or super drained and unmotivated. Your libido could be down because you need to check your chakras and realize that you're out of alignment basically. Let's see. You will also be able to like your feminine I feel like you're in toxic masculine energy, and also your feminine energy needs to be healed. So you like, for example, how Libra rules the sign of balance, but you could be very unbalanced as a Libra. Like, a lot of Libras don't realize how unbalanced they are, even though they feel like, oh, we're the scales, but a lot of times their scales are so out of whack, and it's like that's why you were born onto this earth. This is why you were born onto the earth as a Libra, because you have to learn how to balance both your light and your dark, your feminine, your masculine energy. And right now they're both out of whack, and you need to seek some type of um what is it? Um some type of counseling. Maybe you need, you probably need, can benefit from all type of healings, a doctor's appointment, a therapy session, reiki healing, a massage, a pamper treatment, which is whether it's getting a mani pedi, getting your hair done or cut, getting your somebody doing your hair, washing hair. Like, you need some type of TLC. And I don't mean like just in a romantic relationship. Like, you need to go seek out some type of pampering session for yourself, a reiki healing, a yoga session. Maybe you can go sit in the sauna and just sweat out all of your toxins, because there's a buildup of energy in your body. It says rest and endings. Yeah, and you have to learn how to transmute this energy that you're feeling, because you're harboring a lot of resentment and hate in your heart and in your solar plexus. If you're a woman, it would be your womb, but you don't have a womb. So let me pull some more cards for you. Okay, let's see. I have the time of your life. The Three of Wands keeps coming out. So it's like you need to discover what you're truly passionate about. Because I feel like that's the reason why you project onto people. Because a lot of people have passions, but you could be the type of person that likes to just go out and spend money. But there's no passion in that. Like, you can like to go do things, but there's a difference between liking to do things for recreation and hobbies, whereas having an actual passion. And like, maybe you don't know what it is that you're passionate about in life, and you need to work on yourself. That's what you need to work on yourself. um you need to work on learning how to be honest with yourself, because you have, like, if you're not honest with yourself, it's hard for you to be honest with people. And I kind of feel like there are a lot of people who would be surprised to know that you feel certain types of ways about things, and you even yourself, because you don't talk about them. And I think that there's a lot of people around you who may openly express how they feel about things, and you're the type of person who just always is listening, but you spend more time listening than you do actually realizing how you feel about stuff. Like, you probably just feel nothing. You could be completely numb, and that's a problem. And I feel like the people who are just going through life and they're numb, those are the most dangerous types of people, because you're not um addressing the root of the issue. You're just like continuing to to lead on generational curses, and you are the one who's supposed to break it. But the longer that you're not being honest with yourself, the longer and the worse this spiritual infection will grow into you, and you'll just start to feel more alienated from who you truly are, because you've lost all motivation and passion in life. And you have your what you need to work on is figuring out how to find that passion in life again. And I feel like you will learn, like, maybe you need to spend more time. Let's see. I feel like you spend too much time around other people and, like, what is it called? Escaping from things instead of addressing it. Because a lot of times, like, when people are going through stuff, they find solace in hanging out with friends, which is good and you should do. But sometimes it's like, if you're not spending that time with friends to talk about things, and you're just like escaping into substances or other people, then you never truly are addressing it, and it won't ever go away. It's like, it's kind of like expecting some type of disease to go away, but you never take medication for it, and you're just expecting it to go away one day. Or like, that's like owing a debt and never paying it and just thinking it's going to go away, when in reality it's just accumulating more and more and more. So it's like I said, that's why I believe those type of people are the most dangerous, because you are you are aware of your circumstance, but you're not doing anything about it. And that's dangerous. You know what I'm saying? So let's see. Then reverse. Yeah, there's a whole blockage on the mother wound. So I feel like I'm getting that either there's a few things. Either your mother, you could have lost your mother, or your mother could be a victim of substance abuse, and you could just have to watch her life diminish, or your mother could be in a time in her life where she has to rely on you for, like, you could be her caretaker, or your mother could be going through an abusive relationship, or maybe your baby mother is taking your children away from you, and that's kind of like making it hard for you to live your everyday life because you want to be a great father and you want to be a great partner and friend and son, but it's hard for you to do that when the person that you created life with, or that you might once shared a life with, is now your biggest enemy. And so it's like in that type of situation, you can't really do anything because that person, like, you can't control that person's actions. But I feel like they have a strong hold on you. So it would benefit you to do some cord cutting ritual. Cord, cord, cutting, cutting, a cord cutting ritual. Also it would help you to do some what is it called? Like some type of release ritual, which is like you write down how you feel on a piece of paper and then you burn it, or you write down how you feel and then you bury it in. Well, okay, you don't want to necessarily write down how you feel and then bury it in the ground, because if you bury it, it's gonna grow. So you want to write down something. You want you if you we want to whatever you want to release, you write down on a piece of paper and you burn it. Whatever you want to grow, like as far as abundance and the things that you want to work on, you write those things down on a piece of paper and then bury them in the ground somewhere, or get a pot of soil and a plant and put it in there, or one of those little sand little things and put it in there and allow it to grow and the energy to fester. You continue to water it, and then you will be able to balance um, your light and your dark. Let's see what else. Videos. Let's see. You need to work on, like I said, being honest with yourself. And if you hang out with people a lot, that's okay, but you need to work on learning how to share your feelings and your emotions. Now, as far as where it says you are magic, like I said, you probably also should listen to Pile 3, because there's issues where maybe you need to work on your confidence, because I think that you might depend on other people for your happiness too much. Like, you could be really codependent, and you might need to heal codependency issues. Like, your parents could have really taken a lot of care of you, as they should. That's what parents are supposed to do, and that's really good. But as you've grown into an adult, it can be hard for you to find, like, you can consider yourself an independent person because maybe you have like the physical things going for yourself, like you have a car, house, a job. But as far as like emotionally, you're not emotionally independent. You might not be able to make decisions on your own without the opinions of other people. And like I said, those are the most, especially like with Libras have a hard time making decisions, especially if they feel like somebody else said they should do something. That's my beef with Libras, and that we just gonna keep that at that. Yeah, socializing. Feeling is believing. Like, regardless, and then it says friends. Socializing can cause happiness. Yeah, like, friendship is deeper than just like hanging out. Like, even though sometimes it can just be as simple as just enjoying each other's company, but it's like, maybe you should write a gratitude list also, and think about all the things that you're grateful for. And for the people that have passed on that are no longer here, think about all the positive things that they did that you're grateful for. And I think you should also burn that and release it as well. And that will benefit you and your emotions. And you can, if you do that, or when you do it, because it shouldn't be if you need to do it, this is what you need to work on. So when you do that, I want you to come back and comment and let me know, like, after a few days, how that has affected you. And if it didn't, then we will talk about it, and we'll get into it and figure out different ways to help you with it. So thank you so much for watching Pile 2, and give this video a thumbs up. for your girl. And then subscribe to my channel so you can get notified on my next videos. And let me know what you thought below in the comment section. And until next time, I can't do it on this hand. I don't know. I don't know why I keep trying to do it on this hand. I can't do it on this hand. Until next time. Thank you for watching. Bye.